Back to Football Talks. If you are new and just over from Forever United TV, this is the channel where we talk about the rest of the Premier League and everything going on. So yes, we are going to be talking about Liverpool, Newcastle, Manchester United. We're going to be talking about everything else that's going on, talking Spurs, Arsenal, Manchester City, all of the top guns and what's happening in the transfer market and all of the other news going on around the papers and everything else that is important to these clubs as well. And if you are a supporter of these clubs and want your opinion get into the chat. Talk to me, everyone. Please do get involved with all of the topics. We're talking about Alexander Isak. He is the main headline about, he still is the person that everybody's talking about right now. We're going to be talking with him. Obviously, we're going to be talking about all of the other transfer deals as well. But we have, on this channel, with being new, got off to a great start this year, and we want to say a massive thank you to start off with everybody again, and to do so I'm just going to drop 5 gifted memberships in there for you guys. Thank you, and again for all of the support throughout both channels. It's been absolutely epic, and now we are growing even bigger here on Football Talks, and we're starting to get momentum here as well. So again, absolutely banging. I love the communities that we're building right here on YouTube. We can see a lot of people crossing over between both channels now as well. So it's really good to see, and really excited to see where this channel moves forward, because it's good to talk about something else other than just Manchester United. United are in the actual chat today as well. And I want to get people's opinion, and I want to run this from the start. Anybody who is a Manchester United fan, vote. Anybody who's not a United fan in the chat, please vote. Because last night there was a bid, or another attempt, not last night, over the last couple of days, but last night we found out about it on Bruno Fernandes. I'm going to talk about it in more detail, but I just want you to give me your opinions. So if you're watching later on, give me your opinion. Where does Bruno Fernandes rank in Premier League midfielders? Like, how good is he? Give me some honest chat, some honest opinion. And if that is in the chat after the live is finished as well, please leave your comment there, because I want to gauge how everyone feels about Bruno. He's turned down another deal to Al Nassr, which is what we'll be talking about. But I just want to know what opposition fans also feel about Bruno Fernandes as well. So get in there and let me know what you think, everybody. But starting the headlines and what's actually going on with Alexander Isak and the situation with Liverpool. Now, as you know, and if you have been watching Forever United TV, we've been covering the Benjamin Sesco situation and that saga throughout the last few days. It's been a bit of a mad one, but Newcastle are preparing to, obviously, they've made a bid for Sesco. It's been rejected. We know this, but they are doing this in preparation to sell Alexander Isak. Now, Liverpool are the latest on this, and this has come from the Daily Mail this morning, but not just them. It's also come from a few other sources that Liverpool will submit a second bid for Alexander Isak if Newcastle secure a replacement. So this brings up Sesco, obviously Liverpool and their attempts to sign Alexander Isak, the mess, the player going AWOL, the fallout. There was even a story yesterday, and I want to gauge the chat again on this now. So get into the live chat if you are live with us, and comment again, please, below if you're playing catch-up. Is there anybody that thinks that Alexander Isak will change his mind at this point? Can this deal, or can this saga be turned around where Isak is lining up for Newcastle again next season? Is there any chance that this happens? Please do get into the comment section, everybody, and let me know what you think on this, whether you feel like there is that chance that Isak could actually stay at Newcastle. Because the Telegraph ran a story yesterday saying that there is people at Newcastle now that feel there is confidence within the club that Alexander Isak can still be a Newcastle player and they can sort all of this out. Look, Newcastle are on tour. They're heading back to Newcastle this week. Everybody's returning from tours this week after this weekend across the Premier League. Newcastle being one of them. Now, Isak did not go out on tour. He went off to Real Sociedad, his former club, just to train there and stay fit. I think a few people got mixed up with my video the other day. I actually said that I don't think it's right that Isak is training at another club's facilities while being paid by Newcastle. I thought it was wrong that Isak was actually going AWOL and refusing to go and play for Newcastle on tour while dealing with this situation. I understand players sometimes kick up a stink to make a move happen and make the move impossible to not happen. I get that, and I thought that's where Isak was going with this, but still not right, whichever way you look at it. But he was in Sociedad. Newcastle in Asia, they're all coming back right now, and there is talk that obviously meetings then will happen, face-to-face meetings. And when face-to-face meetings actually happen, then sometimes things get sorted out. And I think that's where the story from the Telegraph was coming from. Romano's come out since, and a few other people have come out since and said that there is going to be another bid going in. Like, Isak has made it clear he wants to go to Liverpool. What can Newcastle do? Well, it seems like Newcastle have accepted that Isak is going because they're bidding strong for Benjamin Sesco. Another story alongside this as well has just come about, which is interesting, which involves United and Newcastle and obviously Liverpool as well, which is that Brentford now have accepted that Yoane Wissa will be sold as well this summer. Now, Wissa is a player that we know Newcastle have had a bid rejected for as well. God, I think Newcastle fans are sick to death of the word bid rejected or that line, aren't they, this summer? It's been a horrible transfer window if you're a Newcastle fan, but there's still time for it to actually look half decent. So, Yoane Wissa now being back on the scene with Brentford, and Newcastle obviously interested in him. They have been rejected for Benjamin Sesco as well already. Manchester United are favourites to sign Benjamin Sesco, and if Sesco goes to United, then Newcastle are going to have to look elsewhere. There is talk about Dominic Calvert-Lewin going into Newcastle as well to cover Callum Wilson, who's been released, and then another striker coming in as well. Like we saw, is he? Look, to be honest, no one's going to be an Alexander Isak. You're not going to be able to replace Isak at all. You have to accept that you're going to be worse next season, because he's not there. That's how good a player he is, and we all know this. But I think the talk of WISSA being available, Newcastle making substantial attempts to sign another striker, tell you that that second bid from Liverpool is going to come in. Now, also, what do we think that bid is going to be? So apparently, going off what was said, Isak and the bid that was put in by Liverpool that was rejected was in and around 110 million with add-ons on top of that. Wow, honestly, like we're talking here, Liverpool about to break the transfer record again for the second time in one window. How much is it going to be? What do Newcastle actually want? What do we actually think that Newcastle want realistically for Isak? In fact, what do you think Isak is worth for what he is? A player, mid-20s, in his prime, Premier League proven, and he's one of the best strikers in the Premier League right now and the world. What is that in pounds? What is Isak worth? And who? I know who is going to buy him, but who is willing to spend that amount of money? Really, I mean, Liverpool obviously are in a very privileged position this summer in terms of what they're able to do financially. It is an absolute mega transfer window for them, and God knows what the final fee is going to be, because they're still looking at Buddy Mark Guehi as well from Crystal Palace. But let's have a look in the live chat actually first of all. Michelle says, I don't think he felt safe personally. I listen to Newcastle fan channels and they've been really toxic. This is a Newcastle problem, not an Isak one, in my opinion. That's interesting to actually see, because I have seen them banners. Like, Newcastle fans have turned on Isak. Would they ultimately say would they ultimately welcome him back if he said he's changed his mind? That's going to be embarrassing, isn't it? And Newcastle fans are doing a nut right now on social media. They really are. They've had an horrendous transfer window, like I said, and I think there is a lot of Newcastle fans out there that are just sick now to the back teeth of this window. They want it done, and they want obviously someone to replace Isak. If there is any Newcastle fans in the chat right now, have you given up on Isak? Would you take him back? That's another question. Let's get into some more on this one. Thames Gem says, yes, United, I want Sesco and Fermin Lopez. Donnarumma to United is better for next season, please. Ineos, make a plan for Amorim, please. Yeah, wishful thinking on them. Like, there is talk of Lopez. Like, Lopez to Manchester United. Romano has said there's nothing concrete on this. There is rumours and murmurings about that being a potential deal that United go for. this window again. Honestly, I'll be honest, as a United fan, I don't know where they're getting the money from that, but still, we will see. Something we don't know about. Newcastle will have a nightmare trying to sign WISSA, says Peter. This is like obviously going off how tough Brentford were in negotiations with Bryan Mbeumo for Manchester United. WISSA, would it be the same? I don't think so. I honestly don't. I think WISSA is a very, very good player, but not in the league of Bryan Mbeumo. The reported fee is around about 40 million for WISSA. So it's going to be interesting to see if Newcastle do go in. If they lose out on Sesco, which is likely at the moment, bid rejected because Newcastle are not on the so-called special list, which is of clubs that Sesco can go and tell Leipzig he wants to move to, and a set fee is already made for them. Newcastle are not in that, which is why they're going to have to bid above and beyond. But that's not going to change anything. If Sesco says he doesn't want to go to Newcastle, Newcastle are going to have to pivot very quickly. And WISSA being available, I think Brentford have seen an opportunity here personally. I think they're looking at the Sesco situation and saying, oh, there's a chance here that they might get desperate. WISSA's back up for sale again, and it's 40 million, and they might get the money that they want for him this time. So let's see how that one actually develops. Newcastle are favourites to sign Sesco at every bookmakers. No, Gary, they're not. People have been sending me screenshots. I don't care about bookies, mate, to be honest, and I'm only saying that because someone has sent me screenshots that Sesco is actually favourite to go to Manchester United. So it's the only reason I'm bringing it up, mate. Let's see what else we've got here as well in the chat. Anthony says, Newcastle fan here. Isak is welcome back, but an apology to the rest of the squad will be required. Apparently, the reports are also saying, and Anthony can fill me in on this, or other Newcastle fans can say it, there is a lot of Newcastle players and staff that don't want Isak back. Now, I don't know if that's true. I'm guessing from the outside, but that's the report we're looking at. If that's the case, then this is dead. It has to be dead, and Isak has to leave. He has taken it to a level here by the AWOL part of it. That's where I don't like. That's where I don't like this deal. The fact that he has not responded or answered calls from the club that's paying his wages. That I cannot stand in players. I really can't. I've got a big problem with that. How players can hold club ransom, first and foremost, is ridiculous this day and age in football. But Isak going AWOL, and this is all apparently, these are just reports, so if they are false reports, then shame on journalists who have been reporting them, but we'll have to take them for their word on this, that Isak wasn't answering phone calls or replying to text messages. He refused to go on tour, which is factual because he's training elsewhere while his club and teammates are over in Asia playing on the tour for the club. I can't stand that in players. And if that is the case, and on top of that, with them other reports talking about Isak not being wanted back at Newcastle, Newcastle have to find a way to get him out of this football club. I personally think, and I've seen a few people there, 130 million, 120 plus, Elliott would be 160. Do Newcastle go down that road? Harvey Elliott is a player that they could take and utilise, very good player. Give us Harvey Elliott 120 million. Could you go down that road? Make weight players always seem to come into deals like this as well. I mean, I don't think Harvey Elliott would have a problem going to Newcastle. I think it's a perfect fit, to be honest. Look, Harvey Elliott deserves better off than being on the sidelines at Liverpool. He's in a team there, Harvey Elliott, that has got some of the best forwards that the Premier League has ever seen. He's unlucky that he's come into Liverpool at a time when he has got Mo Salah in front of him. I mean, for God's sake, like, you could say what you want. Like, Harvey Elliott has just absolutely tore the under-21s Euros apart. Star player, brilliant performance. You don't have to watch him in that tournament to understand the quality that he is. And if he gets guaranteed starts, he could be a real baller for a football team. You're not going to start him ahead of Salah, though, are you? And unfortunately for him, that's the problem that he's had in his career. He has just come through at the wrong time. And he's got one of the best, which Mo Salah is. And that pains me to say it because of who I support. But Mo Salah is the ultimate professional, in my opinion. And you would never get him doing anything that Alexander Isak is doing right now to get a move away. He would just keep his counsel. That's the type of player you pray you get in your football team in Mo Salah. Model pro. In fact, I remember seeing a move that Harvey Elliott was involved in at Brighton, I think it was, away. And this is where I actually, do you know what? Respect to Mo Salah, a massive respect. And again, it kills me saying this, but I'll say what I see. I love my football. And there was a moment when Harvey Elliott went clean through on goal. And instead of taking the difficult shot on, he was aware enough to play in Mo Salah. And Mo Salah had the simple tap-in finish. And Liverpool fans would back me up on this. I cannot remember the year or when it was, but I remember watching it back. And Mo Salah's reaction was gold. Absolute gold to it. The recognition that he gave Harvey Elliott for that. And I think, from what I've heard, Mo Salah is like that behind the scenes as well. Very encouraging to the younger players. Always approachable. Dead easy to talk to. But what he did on the pitch, I think that just set up Mo Salah ahead of everybody else. I think the appreciation, it's like one of them actually pointing at the player and just like that, the recognition, like that's the type of player that Harvey Elliott is. If someone gets hold of him, then they are going to be a lot stronger than what they was. He is brilliant. Like I've done a lot of work, as everybody knows, with Craig on Anfield Agenda. He loves him. He absolutely loves Harvey Elliott. He's one of his favourite players at Liverpool. And him going to Newcastle, I think he's a £50 million player. I think he's between £40 and £50 million, Harvey Elliott. And I think him going to Newcastle, 100 million, 110 million with that on top, I think that Newcastle have done well. You've done really well with that. That is absolutely crazy. It sounds like it's mega numbers, but you are getting an absolute player there. So, yeah, maybe that's the way that this pans out. I mean, keep the comments coming in. Tom has just renewed his membership. Please subscribe and help the channel grow, guys. Thank you very much for that, Tom. The mod's looking after us in here. Also blocking with his. Brentford will go down with the Geordies and Leeds. Oh, you're rubbing it in there, Sean. Let's not forget we've not started our season yet. Remember that, mate. Remember what you said to me earlier on. It's the hope that kills you. I think it will be 120 plus, Elliott, says Michelle on that one. Tina says, I'd rather get Rodrigo than Isak. It's too much money for a player that's injury prone. Interesting, because the Rodrigo talk is still there as well. Just to bring you some updates, information from the Liverpool side of thing on this one. And where we're actually at with it. Newcastle are reportedly giving Alexander Isak the ick. The Swedish striker does not want to play for them again, says Ben Jacobs. And that's what I was just saying. Liverpool now are pushing on this. They know that Alexander Isak wants out of Newcastle. I think the talks happen this week. I think this deal gets done by this time next week. I think Isak will be in a red shirt. Interesting to see there what Liverpool fans are saying. I'd rather take Rodrigo. I don't think you need Rodrigo. I think Isak is exactly what you need. But then again, you've bought Ekitike. I said this on a few different videos before. Imagine being Ekitike, 80 million, I'm the top man. And then you're sat in the stands because Newcastle have sold Isak to Liverpool. That is a mental situation right now. Like, Liverpool are about to spend 200 million on 2 number 9s. That's what it looks like when you put it both together. Even more. But selling players is also going to be key. Personally, I think Liverpool, if they're selling Harvey Elliott, they would rather pay cash and then take the 100% profit for Harvey Elliott on the PSR side of things. I don't think there'll be any swap or make weight. I think it's, right, we've sold you Isak, now you buy Harvey Elliott. If Newcastle want him, that is. But I know that Brighton are actually in for Harvey Elliott as well. And I think there's a chance that they would sort of hold off for the PSR money, I think, at Liverpool, rather than doing a swap. It helps them balance their books as well, so I think that's a big thing. Kaz has been 6 months a member, and do you know what? We've just hit 1,000 people watching live. That's the first time we've ever had 1,000 people watching, and then it went under it. But we did see it. It was there. It was 1,000 people watching. So just for that, as again there, I'm just going to drop in another 5 memberships for that. Just to say thank you again for all of your support on the channel. Keep your comments coming in. This is our sort of like low-key breakdown sort of show where we have a general chat about everything going on in football. We're going to bring up loads of comments now to see what everybody's thinking. I think we get both Isak and Rodrigo. Oh, it says Oakland. Is that Oakland? I can never say that name. Oakland 007, I think is. Sorry. You know who I mean, though. Trevor says the Newcastle fans were kicking the car he was in. Really? They have extra security around him. It looks inevitable he's gone. Wow, that's a nasty fan base when that starts happening. You'd expect them sort of antics from Real Madrid and fans like that, but Newcastle fans really need to get... Hey, I'm not for that either. Christine says he is a top player, but he needs to stop sulking when we go behind sometimes. A captain's job is to inspire. Who is that regarding, actually, when it comes to that comment, please? Tina says, when Rodrigo played on the left, his goal contribution nearly doubled, 25 goals. He offers more across the front line than Isak, in my opinion. Block says, Liverpool have all the 9s, Chelsea all the keepers, and we have all the 10s. What's going on? Yeah, it is that, actually, when you break it down. It's funny, isn't it? You are very knowledgeable, says Babs. Thank you very much, Babs. I'm loving the, again, well over 1,000 people in the room. Loving more the community grows. And keep it coming in. Keep your comments coming in. Shulsky says, let's see, should just bench him without salary since he refused to do something mandatory. I let him sit on the bench until 2028, then sell him. The owner's got money to do so. It's embarrassing and unprofessional. I get all of that. And in a perfect world, us normal people, us normal human beings who are on normal money would say that is the right thing to do. But the situation is Newcastle have all of that money but can't spend any of that money. They have to abide by financial fair play and PSR rules. And in that case, obviously, they're struggling because they haven't got the revenues. They haven't got the Champions League money consistently or the sponsorship deals that other big clubs have got. They need to be consistently in the Champions League. And this summer, they are going to have to sell players to actually make that money. Now, Isak covers the majority of it, and they should be able to really strengthen in a couple of different departments if Isak is sold. So, again, it's going to be one of them, isn't it? Like, where will they end up come start of the season, Newcastle? Who will they be lining up with? I can't see Isak being in there. I definitely think there will be another centre-forward in place for Newcastle for the start of the season. Maybe not. Like if this drags on and the saga continues, then it could be a bad start for Newcastle because of the bad blood in and around the club. The situation with a player not wanting to be there and this not being sorted while the season is going on is 20 times worse than what it would be right now. Right, let's get into other news as well. The Bruno Fernandes comments, please get them in as well because Al Nassr have come in for Bruno Fernandes with another bid. They came in apparently after Al Ittihad. Al Hilal, sorry, not Al Ittihad. Al Hilal came in, obviously, as we know, for Bruno. But the reports are that Bruno Fernandes is going to play one more year in the Prem and then make that move to the Saudi Pro League. Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr are the ones bidding for Bruno Fernandes. That's the report going around. Ben Jacobs has come out and also said that Bruno will play at least one more year in the Premier League with Manchester United. One more year for Bruno Fernandes and then United will cash in. How much they will cash in with, I don't know. Is it going to be the same as what it was with that offer this summer, which was approximately 100 million quid for Bruno Fernandes? That's a lot of money. Bruno wants one more year, though, at Manchester United, apparently, according to the reports. I think Bruno would want more than one more year at Manchester United. But, look, we are where we are right now with this one. Bruno's not going to change his mind. That's the report that came out as well alongside this. And he is going to be a Manchester United player and the captain this season. And then let's see what happens after. But really going for the big players and the big, I think, influential players now, the Saudi Pro League. And I think it's going to be an interesting future because I've seen Cristiano Ronaldo's goal and the highlights from pre-season, and it's like when you've got Ronaldo celebrating a goal and then he's high-fiving João Felix and Sadio Mane, and you've got other players coming in as well, and you're thinking, Milinkovic-Savic, the players are getting better. We've seen what they did to Manchester City and where they got in the Club World Cup, Al Hilal that is. And that's not even this team we're talking about here. We're talking about real ballers here that are all going to be featuring in this World Cup as well, playing for this team. This is they are serious, I think, in bringing the better players to the Saudi Pro League. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how strong they are another year down the line. I tell you what will be interesting. By the time the next Club World Cup comes about, which is reportedly going to be 2029, how strong the Saudi Pro League is then. I think that will be something that will be something that gauges where we're actually at with them and how strong they are. Because if they're competing and winning that competition, it's only going to attract more players to go there. And again, big paydays for these players. Thank you for all of the likes, everybody. Absolutely love that. Let's see if we can get them likes over 200. That will be a record for Football Talks on a live show. We've already beat the record, just thought I'd let you know that, but we might as well round it up to 200. So if you haven't already, please give the video a like. Thank you again for all of your comments. I've been a Liverpool follower for over 50 years, and my opinion on Isak is you will never get your money back in 5 years. No, you've just got to win trophies and get as much money as you can through the club. You're never going to get it back. If no trophy or qualification for Champions League, Bruno will leave 1 year later. I can see that happening. Singularity says that. Hughes has made 190 million on sales since he's been at Liverpool. Good structure. That's what it's all about. Sesco is waiting for Manchester United. Isak won't be leaving, in my opinion, because Newcastle can't leave themselves with only WISSA in a Champions League season. Who else could Newcastle go for if they don't get Sesco? Like WISSA we've talked about. Is there anybody else that Newcastle could go for? Makes me feel that Super League might just rear its ugly head again, you know, with the Saudi Pro League. Maybe, yeah. Michael says, great stuff, Adam. Please just be you. Don't buy a trumpet and blow it. No stupid doll or stupid voices. And don't think you can sing. Right, yeah, I will never sing. I never take myself seriously. I am very respectful to the chat. So, yeah, I think I'm all right with that one, Michael. But thanks for that, buddy. Love that, mate. Block says, Saudi League is crap because of the fan base. Look at the crowd. It's literally dead. Oil money can't buy atmosphere. But it can win big tournaments. And it can get big players there. And it's starting to show that, actually, now. Will Newcastle go for Watkins? That's a good one, actually. A couple of people just come in for that. Lee says Sesco coming to Newcastle. Doesn't look like it, mate, I'm afraid. But would Newcastle go for Ollie Watkins if they didn't get Sesco? Nicholas Jackson strongly linked. Underrated player, got potential. Oh, I don't rate Jackson myself personally. But you never know. Newcastle might be interested in him. Look, like Lee said there, Newcastle might end up winning the fight for Benjamin Sesco yet. And that would automatically move Isak on at that point. Done. Everybody's happy. Problem gone. New striker in. They move forward. Champions League starts. I think Newcastle might actually go out and buy another centre forward if they sign Sesco. The money that they're supposedly going to get off Liverpool would mean that they could go out and buy WISSA and Sesco. That would be a decent strike force for Newcastle going into next season. Ollie Watkins bought with Villa's valuation and sell on value. That's not going to happen. Newcastle might get desperate. Lee says Newcastle are in talks of payment structure. Yeah, but so are Manchester United. And like Romano said, it's going to come down to what the player says. United have already got that deal set up. So have Newcastle. So both clubs are at the same. The only difference is whatever the player decides. So, Lee, you're right. But I'm sorry, unfortunately, mate, for you and the Geordies, you are still in the same boat as what United are. It's going to come down to Sesco. Whatever Newcastle have done, United have done as well. It's just because United haven't been official with it. And that's what Romano has said. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I've never known a situation where deals have been done by two clubs like Newcastle have and United have, and it's all coming down to a player. But to be honest, I said this earlier on FUTV, I expect Newcastle to have got a deal ready, structure ready, payment, personal terms. They need to be ready to go, bang, deal done. As soon as Sesco says yes to either Newcastle or United, I think this moves forward and bang, you're done this week. I think that deal is already laid out there. A couple of other headlines flying around before we finish up. Keep your comments coming in and make sure you put your comments in below as well, everybody, when the video finishes. Dele Alli is considering a retirement at 29 after Cesc Fabregas informed him that he is no longer part of Como's plans. He played only 10 minutes in Serie A and was sent off on his debut against AC Milan in March, his only official match in the last 2.5 years. Oh my God. That is one troubled fella. He could have been an absolute world beater, Dele Alli, but I think that I actually feel sorry in a way for him and the way that his career has ended. Man, that is a lost soul right there in Dele Alli, and clubs can only act the way that they can. It's crazy, isn't it? It is crazy. Lopez to Manchester United. That was another story that was going around with Fabrizio Romano saying that there is nothing concrete on for Fermin Lopez to Manchester United, but there is interest there. There is communication there. Rio Ferdinand on Fermin Lopez, by the way, and his opinion was he's not a Premier League. He's not a Premier League, so people don't realise how good he is. That guy doesn't just play football, he embarrasses players. If United get him, that's Parma-type baller, maybe even more Teche, says Rio Ferdinand. That is a big claim from Rio there. But apparently Manchester United are looking at a potential £61 million bid for Lopez. That, I think, is... that's a lot of money. And apparently we are going to... I think we are going to get... It's pronounced Techie, and it not Techie. Sorry, it's just the way it was spelt. Never mind. I'm not down with the kids. I'm just an old fuddy-duddy. You're going to have to be a bit more old school. Yeah, 61 million for a player that's never played in the Premier League. Featured a lot last season for Barcelona, though. Good numbers as well. I spoke about this on FUTV before, but yeah, Lopez into the Premier League. I think everybody likes the best players to be in our league, but United need a midfielder. Is there another offer coming? Romano has hinted that United are going to go out and get a midfielder as well as this striker. Let's get some more comments in quickly before we finish. Newcastle have had 2 sporting directors in 2 years. The current one is on a long-term sick. They haven't got the structure to buy properly. There is a problem at Newcastle. It just seems desperate in what they're doing right now. And this bid for Sesco looks desperate. It's going to be even more embarrassing if they end up losing and Sesco says he's going to United. Lee, the Newcastle fan again, though, says we are showing him we want him more by saying we value him at 70 million, or if we buddy higher. Honestly, mate, I don't want to burst bubbles, but it looks desperate from Newcastle. It really does. And United, and I always go back to what Romano says. Don't forget about United. Don't forget about United. He keeps on saying it. He knows something that's happening behind the scenes, Romano. He does. And he's not saying. We'll see how it develops. It's an interesting one. I think we might actually know today. I think by tonight we could get the news of United actually playing tonight as well, though. Don't forget, if you are a United fan or a fan of anything else, we am doing a watch-along on FUTV. Go along and subscribe to FUTV as well and join us for the watch-along. We have a right laugh in there as well, so that's happening later. Sesco coming to United, says Tomo. Ashworth made a mistake leaving Newcastle for United. Yeah. It's like, what has happened to Newcastle's structure? Why is it so complicated there? It is weird, isn't it? Like, it's gone mental. Anyway, that is pretty much it for the show this morning, everybody. I've got a mega busy day today. There's loads going on. I've got loads of content coming up later on as well. Please do keep your comments coming in below. Let me know what you think is going to happen with Sesco and Isco. Let me know how much everything's going to be, more importantly. And where do you rate Bruno Fernandes as all-time player in the Premier League? Thanks, everybody. Absolutely love that. Record numbers for Football Talks. I love you all. Even the opposition fans, I love you all too. I know we're all in this together, the football family, and the transfer window is stressful. One way or another, you're going to get a happy fan or an unhappy fan off the back of what's going to happen this weekend. I think it's going to be a big day. I do. And a massive week. My God, there's so much news coming this week. I'll have you covered here on Football Talks though throughout. So thanks again, everybody. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you all